Hello! Today we are talking about the Ruby Red Trilogy by Kristin Gier, consisting of the books Ruby Red, Sapphire Blue, and Emerald Green. This series follows a 16-year-old girl named Gwen who's in this family of time travelers, but only members with the time traveler gene can travel through time. They have a whole secret society, and she's not exactly in the circle. They don't consider her to be very relevant to what they're trying to accomplish, and so they keep a lot of secrets from her. But one day she finds out that she has the time traveler gene, and so then they have to pay attention to her, and she gets thrown into this whole mess of secrets. It's a very fun and interesting series. I really enjoyed reading it. I loved the main character's voice. Every single line in this whole series just sounds exactly like they came from her head. I would say that the point of this series would probably stop at entertainment. These don't exactly have thought-provoking themes in them or anything. I would also say that the finale and the aftermath were pretty disappointing, and it is a more romance-heavy series, so that isn't really my taste. I still enjoyed them. I thought the idea was very cool. I enjoyed the mystery and her trying to figure out all the things that were happening. There is a few inappropriate things in the series. There's a handful of bad words that are used, and I think that the worst one would probably be this one. There are also a couple small little non-graphic conversations about sex and things like that, and a lot of them imply that this character is okay with like teenagers having sex and sex outside of marriage and things like that. There's also a little bit of violence, and there were several instances of 16-year-olds drinking and getting drunk. This series portrayed that as something that was just okay. The series as a whole, I would give 6 out of 10 stars. I did really enjoy it. Obviously, I read all 3, but it did have its issues, and it was like pure entertainment. Individually, I would give Ruby Red maybe 6 or 7 stars, Sapphire Blue maybe 7 or 8 stars, and Emerald Green 3 or 4 stars. Obviously, Sapphire Blue was my favorite, and Emerald Green was my least favorite. I really didn't like the climax and the aftermath. I didn't think there was enough aftermath, and I think the climax was a bit anticlimactic for a 3-book series. In this book, the romance also gets focused on a little bit more, and I partially blame that for my problems with the climax. I would probably recommend this series to 14 to 16-year-old girls, especially those who don't really enjoy reading, because I think that this would be a good series for non-readers. That's everything I'm going to say in the non-spoilery section, so if you haven't read this whole series and you don't want spoilers for it, then you should leave now. Goodbye. I think the society's badly treating of Gwen was a really bad idea. I think them not telling her anything was a bad idea because that made her curious and made her have to go out and find answers herself, which I think is something that they probably really didn't want her to do. And I also don't think most of the things they kept secret was very necessary to keep secret. Also, just the way that they didn't treat her like human being, and most of them didn't be nice to her. Some of them were nice to her, but a lot of them just weren't nice to her, and I got like so confused in that whole thing because you don't want her to steal the thing like Lucy and Paul did, but you won't explain to her the purpose of the thing, and you're not exactly trying to get her on your side by being nice to her. Like, why would she side with you when you're being like terrible people to her? Like, some people might have just like stolen it or broken it just out of spite for like the people being mean to them. I just really didn't understand why, even though it was so important for her to do all the things that they needed her to do, why they would be mean to her and make her probably not want to do those things for them, because why would she do those things for someone who's mean to her? I get the frustration. They spent all these years training Charlotte, and now she's the one with the gene, so I'm sure that was a very frustrating. What's the guy's name? I don't even remember. Gideon. Gideon in the first couple of books just really made me think of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Sometimes he's in love with her, sometimes he treats her like garbage, and it's literally like 2 completely different humans. I don't understand why or how Gwen put up with that. That was just really stupid. I really liked Leslie. Leslie was really cool. I hope Gwen's very thankful to have Leslie in her life. I think my favorite scene in the whole series is the one in Sapphire Blue where Gwen gets drunk at the party in the past and starts starts going up on stage and singing. Like I just said at the beginning of this video, I don't really approve of the portraying teenagers drinking as the good thing, but I did think that scene was really funny. Let's rant about Emerald Green for a minute. I did not like this book. I think the main reason of that is because Gwen and Gideon were like now together. That just ruined everything. This book had so many good plot twists in it, like finding out that Lucy and Paul were her parents and finding out that she was immortal. So many really good plot twists, but those things felt skimmed over in favor of the romance being focused on. I find this to be the problem with the ending of many YA books. A lot of YA books will have really cool concepts and really good plot ideas, but then those things will be skimmed over in favor of the romance. And I really don't like that. That's really frustrating for me. I couldn't care less if Gideon and Gwen got together in the end or not. Frankly, I liked it better before they got together. In these two books, the love story was at least interesting. And this one, it just felt mushy and gushy and gross. I really didn't like the climax. The climax felt worthy of an hour-and-a-half TV movie, not a 3-book series. Again, I blame the romance for that. I think the climax was crafted in a way that would make it very romantic, and I think she could have come up with something way better if she had not done that. Also, what even was those 2 pages of aftermath? Like, we find out Gideon's immortal, and she's still going to school, and they're gonna be nice to Charlotte now, which is something that I do like in this book. I liked this sort of redemption, or looking into Charlotte's mind, because I really like villain redemptions, especially if the villain looks like they're unredeemable. And in these 2 books, I just really hated her, and I didn't think that a redeeming story was going to happen there. But then it kind of did, and I really liked that. I really liked that they decided they were going to be nice to Charlotte now. But like, back to the rant, at the very end, it like shows the ghost, and the ghost getting eaten by her goblin friend. This book almost ended on her brooding over like how this ghost was going to like follow her around for the entire rest of her life, and then the goblin ate it, which was a kind of sour note to end on. But then there was the epilogue, which also was a sour note to end on. Like, literally, the last line is Lucy saying she doesn't think she's ever going to get used to the thing. And that's just a really sour note to end on. Why couldn't we end on a better note? I think these 2 books ended better. And also, there's just so much things that I wanted to be explained that didn't get explained. I wanted to see the reaction of the whole society finding out what the real purpose of it was. Like, seriously, they find out this whole thing they've been working for is a lie, and now the whole thing's over. And what are they working for now? What are they all gonna do now? There's so many questions there that don't get answered. I wanted to see all these people who've been mean to her for a better purpose find out that it wasn't exactly a better purpose. It was a selfish, evil purpose. And they can't even use it for the better purpose because her and Gideon ate the stuff. So it was just a very anticlimactic ending, in my opinion. I really didn't enjoy it. I really think it could have been done so much better. So much better. That's all I have to say today about the series. If you've read the series, be sure to leave your own thoughts and opinions of it down below in the comments, and also leave some book recommendations for other people who've read the series and enjoyed it. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. That's all I have to say today. Bye. Nope. That was more aggressive than I meant it to be.